Yo, what's going on, everyone? Hope you're having a great day. It's Neff, and today we're going to be looking at some HAVOC DH pre-patch builds. A couple days ago, Blizzard released that the Season 4 is going to end on October 25th, and a lot of people are speculating that the pre-patch is going to come out on the 25th when Season 4 ends. I'm assuming there's going to be like a week of downtime after the season ends, so it might come out the week after the 25th, or it might come out on the 25th. Either way, it's going to come out in either 9 days or like 16 days, whatever the math is there. I think is what's actually going to happen. So pre-patch is very, very close. And with the new pre-patch comes a whole new talent system. We get all these new talents, new abilities. Now, some Shadowlands legendaries were turned into talents like Burning Wound and Collective Anguish. I actually have a list of some of the abilities. So we have Dancing with Fate, we have Growing Inferno, we have Burning Wound, Relentless Onslaught, Fellfire Haste, Collective Anguish, the Hunt has returned, Fodder to the Flame, Elysian Decree has returned, Unnatural Malice, the Conduit, I think I already said that. But either way, a lot of stuff from Shadowlands is returning for HAVOC, and that means a lot of stuff is going to overlap and have a bunch of different weird interactions with each other that shouldn't normally be occurring because there's two of the same thing happening, right? So with that, I think pre-patch for DH is going to be a lot of fun, even though it's kind of unfortunate, we can't, have our full build during pre-patch because we're limited on how many talent points because we're not max level. I think with the couple builds that we have going for us, I think it's going to be pretty fun. And we're going to be doing a lot of, crazy stuff. So I do want to point out that even though, we have multiple abilities of like the same thing, if they have the same spell ID, they won't stack. So we have Fellfire Haste here. I'll just take this talent really quick. We have Fellfire Haste, which increases our movement speed after we Fel Rush by 10%, which this is a talent. So as you can see here, movement speed increased by 10%. And then we also have the Fellfire Haste Conduit, which on live, for some reason the tooltips on PTR for conduits are broken, but on live, it increases our movement speed by 17% when we have the conduit and it's enhanced. So we have the conduit in and the talent in. And as you can see here, the talent will take prio over the conduit, even though the conduit has a bigger value. I don't get why that's a thing. Like if we take off Fellfire Haste now and we apply this really quick, you'll see that I get with just the conduit in and no talent, I get the increased value from the conduit. That's better than the talent. So I'm 17% increased movement speed now, just from the conduit. So with a lot of our stuff, this is the case. Like Growing Inferno, I have 2 talent points put into Growing Inferno. It's 10% increased damage. But with the conduit on live, it is 22% when it's enhanced. It's 20% normally. Most of our stuff, like that's conduits that have been turned into talents, is basically like double the damage. Like Dancing with Fate, it's 88%. And the talent is 40%, I believe. Yeah, 40%. And then we have Relentless Onslaught, which is 10%. And on live, it is 10%. And then, but when you enhance it, it's 12%. So it's not a huge difference there. But a big one is the Unnatural Malice, which I do want to point out really quick. So with the limited amount of talent points that we have, if you're planning on playing Night Fae during the pre-patch, do not take Unnatural Malice, because you cannot take Unnatural Malice and Collective Anguish. You just can't do it. The limited amount of talent points we have at level 60, it's just not possible to do it. So if you're playing Night Fae, that's an easy talent to get around that you don't have to pick, and you'll do more damage if you don't pick it. But unfortunately, if you want to play a build like the Throwglaive build, where you take this right side of the tree for Ragefire and stuff, you have to take Growing Inferno and Dancing with Fate. So you can't use the Dancing with Fate conduit and the Dancing or the Growing Inferno conduit. They won't stack. They won't do more damage. It'll only do the talent buff. It won't do the conduit buff. You're taking a talent that is a current conduit in Shadowlands, You do not want to take, at least the ones that I listed, you do not want to take it as a conduit. So you're taking Growing Inferno and Dancing with Fate as talents. You do not want to take Growing Inferno as a conduit. You should just take like Relentless Onslaught and maybe Serrated Glaive. I don't know. With all that out of the way, I'm actually going to get into the builds now. So here, this first build is probably one of my favorite builds. It's going to be a lot of fun to run with in Mythic Plus and AoE. So I was already showing you the build that I'm going to use for it. It's this here, called a Glaive Momentum AoE. Even Blades, we're taking Burning Hatred for more Fury generation. We have Looks Can Kill for guaranteed crits. We have 1 point into Blind Fury, also for Fury generation. We take Unbound Chaos for more damage in AoE. Momentum, just for all overall damage. And then mainly it focuses on this right side. We have Soul Rend. This is going to do most of our damage with this build. And then any means necessary also buffs, you know, the right side of this tree, like Immolation Aura, and which in turn Immolation Aura buffs increase our Rage Fire damage. But yeah, the main part about this build is the legendary from Shadowlands, Fel Bombardment. So if you have never run in this, you probably haven't. You probably don't know what this does. Basically, your Immolation Aura gives you a stacking buff up to 5 times, and each stack increases the damage of Throw Glaive to your primary target by 50%. You also throw an additional glaive at a nearby target. So I'll show you what this looks like really quick. I have a weak aura to track the Fel Bombardment stacks. So once it gets to 5 stacks, after I pop Immolation Aura, I throw my Throw Glaive. Everything gets dotted up with Soul Rending and Burning Wound. Well, 3 targets get Burning Wound. Yeah, once it gets up to 5 stacks, you want to throw your Throw Glaive. And you know, you can easily track this stuff with Neph UI. Link in the description to my Twitch. You know, it's available for Twitch subs if you like my UI. Anyways, Soul Rend on 5 targets, you know, doing 15% of our damage. But I am running the Serrated Glaive Conduit, which increases our I-beam damage by 22% when it's enhanced. And we're throwing a ton of glaives out. So everything is going to get hit by that. It's going to uncap Throw Glaive by a lot. So it's indirectly going to increase our I-beam damage as well, while doing a ton of damage with our Throw Glaive itself and with the Soul Rend dot. So this build does a ton of damage in AoE. Like I'm kind of just like AFK here. You know, I'm not really playing. We get stacks, Throw Glaive. Demonic is broken on PTR for copied characters, so I can't have Demonic right now. Everything gets dotted up with, you know, Serrated Glaive, Burning Wound, Soul Rending. Didn't really use any CDs, and you know, we're doing 33k. Does a lot of damage, really fun, really cool. I think this is going to be like the go-to build for most Mythic Plus. So while we're here at the Venthyr place, I'm going to show off this next build. So let me learn my talent now. So this is more of like an I-beam Sinful brand carry build. But before I go further into this, apparently any means necessary is supposed to make Sinful brand do chaos damage, according to Reels. Reels is the HAVOC dev, if you don't know who he is. He's the one basically making the class for us and doing all that stuff. So as you can see here, Sinful brand is doing a shadow damage, and any means necessary is supposed to change shadow damage into chaos damage. Apparently this is like an oversight or a bug, and it's supposed to be changed. So hopefully when pre-patch is actually released, you know, this is changed, and while running Sinful brand and any means necessary, it will be doing chaos damage, which, you know, if you've played, you know, season 3 or season 4, it's Venthyr HAVOC, you know how much damage Sinful brand actually does. So if it turns into chaos damage and it's doing, you know, 30, I have no mastery, it would be doing 30% more damage. I think they're going to change the scaling, but you know, if it's doing 30 to 40% more damage, when you have a lot of mastery, that's it's gonna be pretty crazy. So this talent build here, is kind of just letting any means necessary and Sinful Brand carry us. If you're running this build, Demonic might be good, but I think for Mythic Plus, with the Venthyr and this build has really good consistent AoE outside of cooldowns. But I think if you run 2 minutes, 2-minute meta with Sinful Brand and you have the AoE Sinful Brand for your 2-minute cooldowns, you're going to be doing huge damage during that. And then with Rage Fire, Throglaive, Soul Rend, everything like that, you're going to be doing good damage outside of your cooldowns, but you're insane damage inside of your cooldown every 2 minutes. But while we're on this build, I do want to bring up a Collective Anguish. Collective Anguish, as I said, it's a talent now, and it was a legendary, and it is a legendary in live. So in pre-patch, assuming it doesn't get changed, we're going to be able to use both of these. And the talent Collective Anguish and the legendary Collective Anguish that has its own instance of damage. And while we run the Unity legendary as Venthyr, Collective Anguish and our Fel Dev and our I-Beam increase Sinful Brand by 0.75 seconds. So if you run the talent Collective Anguish and the legendary Collective Anguish, we do 35 ticks of damage, so we multiply that by 0.75. That's 26.25 seconds of extra Sinful Brand. And we add the 8 seconds of regular Sinful Brand onto that. So one I-Beam is giving us 26 seconds. If we do our opener, Sinful Brand, I-Beam, meta I-Beam, the 2 I-Beams add 52 seconds of Sinful Brand. And if we're running the Conduit, increased scrutiny, that reduces Sinful Brand cooldown at max level, 278 item level, and it's enhanced, it reduces it by 11 seconds. So our Sinful Brand is a 34-second cooldown. Unfortunately, they increased the cooldown of I-Beam to 40 seconds. So there is a bit of downtime if you lose your Sinful Brand, but I'll do like the opener here really quick, and I'll actually show you how long you can keep that first Sinful Brand up without running Collective or without running Cycle of Hatred and chasing that I-Beam reset or CDR. So yeah, we basically had Sinful Brand up for 2 minutes straight. Had it up for almost 2 minutes straight, and I just realized I didn't have 2 points into Blind Fury, which is probably what you're going to want to do. So you would run this instead, so you can have more ticks of damage from your I-Beam. Like how many ticks was our I-Beam doing? So yeah, we were missing around 3 seconds per I-Beam. So we were missing around 3 seconds per I-Beam, and we had 4 I-Beams, so we missed out on 12 seconds of Sinful Brand, almost more like 10 seconds, because it's like 0.75 seconds per I-Beam or per tick of damage. So we missed out on like an extra 10 seconds of Sinful Brand. So we could have had it go on even longer. And our Sinful Brand was already on cooldown when it dropped, so we could have popped it again and then I-Beamed like 4 seconds later and just kept it going. But yeah, so you don't have to run Cycle of Hatred and chase the CDR on I-Beam to actually run Venthyr now. Another thing, you could go the RNG route and play Dark Glare Medallion rather than having 2 Collective Anguishes. So if we have Dark Glare Medallion, it will still work. Yeah, we get a Dark Glare Medallion proc here. And we do have Collective Anguish, only 1 Collective Anguish, so we have a 50-second brand here. This is also another option you could play. But if you want to play it safe, double Collective Anguish is definitely the safer play. But if you like Dark Glare Medallion, then more power to you. So for our next build we're going to check out, it's going to involve Burning Wound. So Burning Wound, it is a legendary currently, and it has been turned into a talent. It leaves a dot and it increases your damage taken from your Immolation Aura by 50%. Unfortunately, the talent is only applied up to 3 targets, but the legendary, you can have it on as many targets as you want. But the bad thing about the legendary, you can only spread the dot with your Demon's Bite or when you're running Demon Blades from your melee attacks. But with the change to Demon Blades not being RNG anymore, it'll basically spread your Burning Wound on every melee attack, which is really nice, and it makes it a lot easier to spread the dot. In the legendary, it also does more damage itself, and whatever it's applied onto, it takes increased damage compared to the talent. So the legendary does 65% increased damage, the talent does 50% increased damage. And these do stack. They have different spell IDs, or they have different instances of damage or dots, but I think it has the same spell ID. They just do different instances of damage. I don't know how it's calculated, but I'll show you. Our Burning Wound has 2 stacks here. 2 stacks there, 2 stacks there. So we have it on 3 targets. But if I come over here, we'll have 2 stacks on this one now. This one only has 1 now. So you can only have 2 stacks of Burning Wound or running the talent and the legendary on up to 3 targets, but you can have Burning Wound from the legendary on any targets, on any amount of targets. But those 3 targets that have the 2 stacks, they're going to be taking 115% increased damage from your Immolation Aura. So this build's going to be like really good on 3 targets, maybe 4 targets. And one thing to remember, when you're running Night Fae and you have the Unity legendary equipped or the Covenant legendary equipped, when you use the Night Fae hunt, like the actual Night Fae hunt, which is right here, when you use this one, but not the talent one, your Unity will proc. You'll get increased agility, and you'll proc an Immolation Aura from your hunt. So you can have more uptime on Immolation Aura, which will mean, more value from Burning Wound, more value from Growing Inferno, and more Rage Fire damage. Also, a really nice thing about Night Fae is First Strike. So if we run Karain, we have the regular First Strike from the Soul Line. Increases our crit strike chance by 25% for 5 seconds after attacking a new target. And then we have the Talent Initiative, which is basically the same thing. It just does half the effect, but they are 2 different spell IDs, so they both stack. So you see my crit's 32%. I attack, it goes up to 69%, and we have First Strike there, or First Strike there, and Initiative there. So they stack with each other. What did we get? 37% crit. I tried to Immolation Aura and then Hunt before my Immolation Aura dropped to extend my Immolation Aura to keep the Rage Fire going. But as soon as you activate a new Immolation Aura, that first Rage Fire from the first Immolation Aura will actually explode, and it won't roll it over and extend it. But yeah, I'll show you how this kind of works. First, you would want to throw glaive to, spread your dot to everything. And then you would want to go around meleeing everything to put the second dot out. And then you can do your regular damage, pop your Immolation Aura to actually start doing damage. Keep throw glaving to keep soul running up. Here's our first Rage Fire or Immolation Aura. We hunt to get our second Immolation Aura. Just keep spreading this dot. Keep spreading the soul rend. Keep using throw glaive to easily spread it. And there's our second Immolation Aura from our hunt. We can just regular hunt now. From the talent, keep throw glaving to keep those burning wounds up. And there's our third Rage Fire or Immolation Aura. So the crits weren't that good. We didn't get a lot of them. But as you can see, with 2 applications, they take double damage from Immolation Aura. So we're ticking when it gets to the end of Immolation Aura, we're ticking for 5.4k on 3 targets. Our Rage Fire on 3 targets did 160k. So if you like this type of playstyle, this might be fun for you. I don't think it's going to be like insane, but with the change to Rage Fire and it only consuming up to 3 crits per tick, and it matches the amount of 2 stacks you can have on Burning Wound. In AoE, when it explodes, it might be really good on big target counts, but on 3 targets, it's decent. So yeah, if you like this playstyle, definitely give this a look. Definitely try this out. But yeah, those are the builds that we're going to be looking at today. I might post some more builds when the pre-patch actually releases and we actually get to test stuff out, in the raids and stuff and Mythic Plus. But yeah, I think these builds look a lot of fun, and I'm hyped for pre-patch to come out so we can actually test out these talents and actual gameplay, rather than just like raid testing or bugged Mythic Plus and terrible affix Mythic Plus. Yeah, hyped for pre-patch. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you found something useful, if you found a build that I didn't show here or that you think looks really cool, let me know about it. I'll definitely check it out. If you're not a part of the Discord, link in the description to my Discord. If you liked my UI in the video, it is available for Twitch subs, and there's a link to my Twitch in the description. And if you're not subbed to me on here, and if you're not subbed to me here on YouTube, I would really appreciate it. Helps my channel grow tremendously, and it would mean the world to me. Free, it takes like 2 seconds. Just hit that sub button, please. Yeah, if you enjoyed the video, like it. Whatever. Do the stuffs. Hit the bell. Subscribe, like, comment. Till next time. Peace.